Oops. All right, so we're going to do obstacles today. Yay! Actually going to do it. There's a little bit of a glitchiness to some of the painting of tiles, but that's something I'll work on over time. Get that all worked out. So here we go. Just got to get, every time I start the stream, I have to go and babysit YouTube really quick. Every single time. So I got a new phone. Check it out. I'm going backwards. I want to get away from the smartphones. So I got a phone that allows me to listen to music. It's even got a radio, an FM radio, if you can believe it. And I can text. But everything else is so cumbersome, I wouldn't use it on it. Oh, and it can, it's got 4G, and I can broadcast a Wi-Fi to connect to it with. So I can use a laptop, using its internet. So that gets me off the smartphone. Hopefully, that's the plan. Got to crack that habit. It's basically cigarettes for me. Nova Villain followed me. Oh, yeah, she was doing that stream yesterday. That's right. Cool. Nice. That's nice. All right, so here we go. Let's get coding. What? Coding. Yeah. Okay, so let's pull any updates from the team. And let's get ready to rumble. So that's the first glitch, is re-adding an existing cell. Doesn't like it. And now to make Godot hang already. This is a good start. Excuse me. YouTube's complaining. How's my OBS doing? OBS. Got a couple drop frames. Ruh-roh. That's strange. Okay, well, they're gone now. I think it was during that moment in time. Okay, so yeah. So time to make some obstacles. So we've got two scripts that we wrote long time ago. Long time ago. I can still remember those obstacles I coded. Every bad code I delivered. Bad news on the Git repo. Hey. Do 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 boo do boo do boo. All right, so I have a breakpoint on. What was that? Don't save. What was that about? Okay, that's saved. Yeah, I promise I'm going to work on it today, guys. Why is this one right? And this one's all up over here in the corner. Bad news on the doorstep. Every paper I delivered. Every paper I deliver. Okay, we'll go back to, let's go to pressure plate. Ground entity. Bad news on the doorstep. For object in array. Oh, I was testing. Okay, so that was me manually doing some stuff there. You know what we don't have here? We don't have tool. Trying to think of a tool song. Okay, so definitely something about, because it's a cropped node. Oh, I think I know why. Bad news on the doorstep. With every paper I deliver. So these conveyor is its own thing, but these three guys are from great. I'm already troubleshooting a bug. These guys are in their own little home here. So it's gotta be, there has to be a morning after. It's gotta be the region. If we can hold on to the night. How you doing, Darren? So let's look at the code. Jamie, go ahead and pull that up. All right, so here's the code. Bad news on the doorstep. I can't remember if I cried. Set script. Set up sprite self. Bad news on the doorstep. So rotation isn't it? Normal map isn't it? Texture offset could be it. You could be it. Could you? And their friends tell their friend. Print debug. That's my close and reopen sound. It's a survival horror themed IDE. You remember on the old Windows, like Windows 95, it was just the thing to make all the sound effects for everything you did, like literally everything you did. Oh man, you go to someone's computer and it would just be like this foreign, like alien device with this weird skin, and the mouse is like dripping blood, and you click on things and the icon, nothing. You can't even find anything because all the icons are just like complete nonsense. God, I don't know what I'm looking at. What is this? Oh man. And then there's Bonzi Buddy.
Hello, Matthew. It's me, Bonzi. I'm a purple monkey that's disguised as a piece of malware.
Oh man. Now, if Bonzi Buddy exists now, he'd be farming Bitcoin off your computer. He'd be. Oh,
Hello, Matthew.
Bejeweled. Oh, we used to have when I worked in IT or not IT. What am I saying? When I worked in at the ISP I was working at, Bejeweled. We'd have like the office the cubicle high score, and I still remember. I remember this one guy I was working with, and he was cussing me out, and he thought he was on mute with the customer, and the customer. Oh, that was awful. Okay, so we know that. Okay, so that's fine. If I cried. So that comes in. But every paper I deliver, bad news on the doorstep. Have you heard that Disturbed cover of Sound of Silence? I like to imagine him doing a cover of American Pie. Just all slow. It's like 24 minutes long. It's very good. Not a big Disturbed guy myself, but some good stuff. So setup sprite. Why ain't you doing what I want you to do, huh, bud? Let's just do a little print here. Hello. Bad news on the doorstep. There's our hellos. Invalid call, non-existent function setup sprite in base sprite pressure plate. So, okay, so this is unique to pressure plate. What is wrong? There's ground entities. Now we have conveyor. So this is what we did in conveyor here. So it's identical. So we are trying to do this. Let's comment this out. Okay. Class name pressure plate. Bad news on the doorstep. I can't remember if I cried. Whoops. Sometimes when you come in from the other screen, it... Invalid call, non-existent function setup sprite. Yeah, doesn't really help it as a currency. Set script. Print bug hello. Setup sprite. Setup sprite. So that's fine. Man, so the only bummer with this approach is anytime there's an error in my I mean, what am I doing wrong here? What could possibly be wrong? Let's get rid of the signals. And this, save it. There's nothing left here. Okay. This is cool. It's a nice little thing to have in the background for motivation. Every time I want to jump out the window. Non-existent function. Oh, run the scene. Whoa. That's cool. I don't understand the problem. Okay, so we've got pressure plate. Gonna open it. That's that. We're gonna copy path. Put it in here. Save again. Delete that guy. Reopen. Save and close. Sure, why not? Pressure plate. Same thing again. Invalid call, non-existent function setup sprite in base. Sprite pressure plate. So let's just copy. Here's what I'll do. Sprite or pressure plate is now using the exact same code as our old friend conveyor. Same deal. What? This isn't making any sense. Oh, joy. All right. Hang on. We're going to close and quit. Reopen. Sometimes it just seems like she just forgets. She forgets to refresh. Can't remember. Sure enough. Son of a biscuit. Son of a biscuit. I wonder if there's a way to manually trigger that reload. Like, can I... Okay, we're good. And we're using pressure plate. We'll make this back to invisible. Invisible. All right. Okay, so there's our pressure plate. So let's just make sure it works the way we remember. And we'll just run the scene. And I have a breakpoint on it. Gadzooks. Oh, no, I don't have a break on it. Oh, and I got rid of the mid-signal pressed. Okay, so shape entered. Let's do a break on that. And let's just see. There we go. Okay, cool. So we have a little pressure plate. We can send out a pressed signal. Now we need to have the equivalent of this right here. And this was where we were selecting some coordinates and sending the press signal to those specific nodes. Okay, so let's do that. So what are we going to do then? We need now that we have this as a tool, everything's going to get a little bit easier. So we'll go var export. So I'll make the var in the editor. And we'll say var. And ooh, what you say? We're going to go array. And I believe that we can do a vector2, we can do pull array.
You what you say?
What do we call this? So if we're pressing the pressure plate and we want to be able to pick other locations that get notified when it's being pressed, what do we call that? Signal vectors. Notify signal vector send signal to vectors. Might as well be as like verbose about it. Verbosity. And now let's select our pressure plate. And we don't see them. Of course we don't. How about we just make an array? We'll be happy about that. You gonna be complaining about that? Is it because... Why? Why are you doing this to me? Am I about to find out there's something else that ain't right about this? Is that what's going to happen? I was thinking Anubis could be a type of boss or something. Yeah, I want to have laser receivers to stay in place while he moves. So here's ground entity. Export. Is that what I'm doing? Yeah. Is it because I need to be right after tool? We're getting into voodoo territory. What did I do here? I did a vec2. Let's load it up again. Let's just try. I'm just going to quit out. If this is what it's going to be like. There it is. When you go to quit, it seems to catch it. Okay, so we're going to do pull vector2 array. So in theory, if we do this, is it going to force it to be my neighbor's doing the old subwoofer test, maybe? There we go, vector2 array size. Then we pop it open. We got our two XY coordinates for, so I could do like, I could pick this one and then 14, 2, and then on this one I could say 14, 2, so like this. And then, in theory, when I hit this pressure plate will get a signal. So that's what we want. If there is this, now see, this is an array. Can I do an if on an array, and it'll just be like, it'll be cool with it. Let's do a breakpoint and find out, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Now let's just double check that we're looking at the values we want. Yeah, okay. So if there is, then we have our array, and for each object in array, so we need to go and say because I gotta do for vector in send signal to vectors, then we need to get the object where it's going to be a sibling. So we're going to say object object to signal. Then we're going to say get node and it's a sibling, so I believe you go dot bloop like that, and you say oh, we got it right here. I kind of want to go outside and see what's going on, but I don't want to feed the beast. There's the vector. So we're going to var to string the vector. We're going to get that object. Okay. So let's just do, we'll do a print debug on this and just make sure that we actually got that object properly. Let's go back and see. Oh, we're doing the verbose, and that's making it so we don't see. Well, that answers my question. So even having verbose output didn't help me any more or less than before.
Welcome to VoiceOver.
Ah!
VoiceOver speaks descriptions of...
No, I'm good. Thanks. What the hell was that? Okay, so we got the object. We're getting there, boys. And then we make the connection. So we go bloop, and then we go connect pressed to this node. And then on that node, we're going to do pressed as the signal. Maybe we call it something else. And maybe it would be best to have a method that we could call on the, because it's relative to this object, because we're connecting on self, this the signal, or no, we're connecting pressed signal to this object, and then we're determining what method to call on that object. And maybe that doesn't make the most sense. Maybe because then pressed is now taken up by but we could pass values. So if we use pressed for more than one thing, so here's our conveyor has pressed, and we don't have pressed here. So yeah, because you're going to send a signal to, that doesn't make any sense, right? So let's make this guy conveyor instead. So we're going to delete that, and then we're going to pop in a conveyor. Okay, so there's a conveyor. Why is it animating? Oh, it heard me. Okay, so we've got a breakpoint on pressed already. So now in theory, if we get on this pressure plate, this guy is going to receive the signal that we did that. Let's just make sure. Bloop. Yep. Okay. So now we can set up pressure plate to, so if you, let's say we're right here and you click on the pressure plate, then you have this list of arrays. The send signal to vectors is a vec2 pool array. You can increase the number and you can add the coordinates of the other puzzle elements to send a press signal to. Now, when that happens, you can then add your custom code in here. So we could have the sender send us self, right? So we could send a reference of who sent that message. So we could go self, and then we could say from object. And now if we do print debug, well, no, let's use our debugger because we're now in game. Debug log, and we'll just say from, and this should show up on screen. Then we don't need to have breakpoint anymore. See, I wrote that logger. And I said, it's going to be useful. And everyone's like, no, you're a fool. You're a fool. And I'm not ripping Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, if that's what you're wondering this is. Just ignore that. Let's, come on, guys. Non-existent string constructor. Non-existent string constructor. All right, well, let me send name. From object dot name. Okay, that should be a string. Let's be happy about that. There it is. Okay. Cool. Boop. Boop. All right. Now, do we have any ideas for obstacles? Because we're proving that this is all possible. See, I would like this to be a picker, but I don't know how to make that happen yet. So for now, we're going to have to hand code the values, which could be a problem. Maybe what we do, I mean, if we copy the node path, that could be another way of doing it. If we decide to change the structure of anything, it'll break everything. So that might not be the best way to do it. Yeah, but how would we show that you're going up? Let's, I think one of the first things, just an animation. So for jumping, we'll have to, do we want it to be like Prince of Persia style jumping, where you wouldn't be able to turn around and change directions midair? Like it's more like it's throwing you. Right. Okay. So let's do that. Let's this is a time this is the time for now finally the time for all good men. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting I'm loading up. I'm going to be using the live scribe pen, and we're going to start writing down some creative ideas. I need to find my. Whoops. I've got to find my. Okay, are we plugged in? No. Come on. Oh, it's not even. That's right. It's like some drug thing. My breaking things. All right, we're just gonna unplug. What are you? Oh, these are two important hard drives. Hang on a second. We gotta properly eject them, otherwise everything breaks. It'd be cool if hard drives had something like a buffer. Oh, come on. I picked the wrong one. Whatever. Okay. It's it'll be fine. Oh, I have the wrong I don't have my programming glasses on. These are my Daniel Jackson archaeologist glasses. No, I don't want it. No. Apple, could you just let me plug things in? For crying out loud. Thank you. Okay. That's a good idea. I like it. I like it. Let me get QuickTime going here. So I'm getting the screen on my iPhone visible so that when I write with a pen, it'll be on stream. And then we shall be able to. Okay, so there's. Oh, darn it, Apple! For crying out, I don't want to hear about. Leave me alone. I just want to live. Okay. Now, there's that. We're just going to have that in the background. And then we're going to go over to OBS. Phone 2. There we go. And it's quite large. What happened? I don't know. Okay. Let's just put that there. Uh-oh. Somebody's entered the building. Who goes there? Who goes there? Hey, come here. Give me a hug. Are you and Mama going somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, you look all jewelried out. You have fun with her, okay? Are you trying to do the alarm? That one doesn't have the alarm. That one doesn't have the alarm. All right, sweetie. You have fun.
Let's go.
Okay. Bye, sweetie.
Bye. Bye. Love you.
Kick some butt.
Okay.
So, like a spring. Yeah. So the question is, those are some obstacle thoughts I had. Yeah. So now here's the question: Can we get the class name? Can I get the class name from an object? Because if we can get the class name, then we can use the class name for a check. So like, for instance, if we get a press signal from something, right, from an object, we've got the name of the object, which is just a vector coordinate, so that's not really helpful. But if we can get the kind of object, that might be a bit more helpful to be able to determine what we do. Because sometimes, who knows, I don't know. We need to be flexible so that we can start to have some dynamic stuff. So let's look up object really quick. What time are we looking at here? 40 minutes. Jesus. Okay, well that little bug thing, it took a minute to figure that out. What the hell was that anyways? I don't even remember how I fixed it. It wasn't even a bug. It was just I had to close and reopen. Okay, so class. There's something about class in here. Oh, I'm searching the wrong thing. Class. Get class returns the object's class as a string. So let's do that. We'll, on the conveyor, just as a test, we're doing object name, and we're going to get classy here. Can we go, and can we ask, see, this is good, because I'm like, all of this, I'm learning so much. I don't know. You know, I'm looking forward to, like, maybe, you know, if we pull in and do something with Dominic too, it would be really cool. But I have a feeling we're going to end up on Unity and we'll just suck balls to have to learn a whole bunch of stuff all over again. But there's a lot of, you know, it all transfers. Okay, so that's just going to sit there. Why didn't it bring over the collision? Why does this one show the collision? And this one does not. Strange. Okay. And that one doesn't do anything. Oh, because we're not sending a signal. Sprite. That's not what we want. That's the parent class. But we're great. Let's ask ourselves. So at the start, it'll spit out the class, or not. Sprite. So this is interesting. That is correct. We do want... Okay, so now they show them. So what happens if I paint one? Uh-oh. Here's another bug. It's because it's not part of the... Now I bet... Let's just go... Boop. Okay, so that's... Okay. Okay, so we redid this. Let's get rid of that. So what is the point of this? Returns the object's class. So it's mentioned 30 other times here, though. If a class which is available, blah, blah, blah. Objects do not manage memory if a class inherits from the object. Some classes that extend object add memory management. Is class. So you can do a check. If the object inherits from a given class. Okay. So let's try... is class, and then we're going to call it pressure plate. See what it returns. Can I do this? Identifier pressure plate isn't declared in the current scope. Okay. That is a clue. what are we passing? It's a string. Okay, so we'll do it as a string. And I guess that's false. So if I say sprite, is it going to be cool? Are we going to be cool, bro? True. Extend sprite. Okay, so what the hell's the point of this? Optional class definition with custom icon. Well, it's really optional if I can't call the dang thing. Extends. We're extending this. We're giving it this class name. So it's not mad about that. These jerks. Ban. I'm beginning to wonder if I even needed to, like, if we know the class name, when we're instantiating here and I'm preloading all this, I'm wondering if there's a way to, instead of loading the script and doing this whole set script thing, that if, no, because we're this is what the instance comes from. Okay, well, I'll just have to come up with a different way of handling, you know, like, I mean, all objects I could require, I don't know. They all could have the same var name that I could use to then determine what it is, but I mean, what's this about? You know? But whatever. Okay, well, got a little sidetracked there. So we're going to, it was only like 2 minutes. It felt like forever. Okay, so there's a couple of things. Let me just do an experiment here, because we're seeing that it's not showing the collision point here, but I wonder if it'll send the same signal. So if I, on this one, if I do 14.2, and we'll save and run now without reloading the scene. I'm wondering if, oops. Let's get on there. Thank you. And we'll go here, and yeah, okay. So it's just like, it's just not showing it here because we're doing it in, I don't know. There might be a call I can do to refresh the editor, maybe. I mean, you know, I'm not 100% sure why that's happening. Cool, but I mean, so far this is working good. So now, okay, so turning lasers on and off, jumping, teleporting, conveyor, moving blocks, damaging, teleport. Okay, so let's make a teleport one. We're gonna need to open up. We just need to start making these. So we're gonna need And I really would like to be able to. Maybe I could make it, like this could be a drop down to populate. I just don't quite know, like extending the editor in that way. Let's look up export here. There's a whole thing on it right here. Export can also take a resource type to use as a hint. Okay, so let's try that then. Let's switch this up. So we're going to say export var. You can enumerate as well. Interesting. Okay. So if we go like this, right? And then can that somehow let's close that, reopen. It just shows it there as a hint. Path to file. So could we do this strings as paths? But can we do this with anything else? Allow integer values from. So there's color. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna make a new one real quick. Tacos, and then do I have to reload? Ooh, see that? Oh, that's the looks like I do. Send signal to vectors. Quit. Reopen. I got distracted when my kid got here. I'm not afraid to admit it. Because I was getting the pin ready. Oh, see, because I done broke it. That straight up broke it. I'm a broken man. I don't know what you mean, Vec2 Tacos Array. What are you talking about? Okay, fine. So, do I have to reload? Yeah. Oh, but is it this? A little hint. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. Kind of the same problem that I had here. Like I want to be able to tell it let me see if Godot export drop down. Can I make it a drop down list? It is possible to export an enumerated value, which will look like a drop-down, where you can select one where you can select one option. So I could make a variable that populates a list of, like, I'd have to probably write a whole other thing that would make a list of these that you could pick from. Be a board with different conclusions that you could pick from. Okay, so now that I'm ready to use this magical pen, okay, so connect to smart pen. Oh, nobody told me this whole time I've been coding. That stupid screen has been up this entire time. Well, that's embarrassing. It's pretty embarrassing. Oh, is it because Bluetooth is off on this? Yep. Okay, so the pen is paired. Now I need to find my notebook. Notebook? Notebook! Ah, there you are. Okay. Alright. So, let's go here. Where are we? Player movements. Excellent. Now we're going to move this back over here because everything I did was for this screen. There we go. That should get us the proper. Yes, excellent. Okay. Now. So we have teleporting, conveyor, so we can split this up into like so let's say that we can rotate we can turn off / on. We can reverse in the case of things that affect the direction of the player. Moving blocks. Okay, so that's going to be a layer up. So we'll get there. Swapping object positions. That's kind of like teleporting. But swap is a little different. I feel like swap would be interesting. Especially if there's multiplayer. Opening locks. Turning on and off lights. Stunning enemy effects. Okay. So that's a lot of... Okay. So... here's something interesting we're getting for free in the editor. Sprite. So if we choose so we don't want to expose cell. Let's get rid of that. Sorry, I'm just looking at a few things here real quick. Okay, so I would say with what I'm listing here, these are things that actions to other obstacles. I can't spell. Okay. And then we have like the things that you're talking about, which is like teleport, swap, let's say this is reverse change direction. But they can do the player too. So if you happen to be on something and then it's made to rotate. Okay. Let's go back to what we're doing here. Emitting, so making something appear. So if you push on this, then something else can appear. How's it going, Dominic? Yeah, we're just thinking about okay. I mean, is there a way to as well? You know, it just occurred to me. Send signal to vectors. So we could okay, that's something I'm going to add. I'll override the draw command on this pressure plate so that when you select it in the editor here, that it will show what it's connected to with a line pointing to it, like an arrow pointing to it. That way you can tell where your signals are hooked up, and then I'll only have that draw happening in the editor. And that way you can tell. So that'll be a nice little extra thing. Okay, well, so let's do this. So let's get rid of that, and we're going to have, just as a test example, we're going to have a conveyor going this way, and its force is going to be such that, okay, so that's another thing that we could do with the conveyor. Right now we have speed, so we could export speed. And then we can make that so that you can manually specify what the speed of that particular thing is going to be. So I think it's pissed because we're doing... We need to hint that it's an integer. And I want to make sure I'm in conveyor. I am in conveyor. Oh, I'm doing var export. It should be export var. So that might have been why it was pissy. Nope. What is it? Export integer var. Okay, let me just do this then. Okay, if let's close and reopen. There's speed. And we're going to set it to speed to start. And so why is it so picky? Like when I add these new exports, there's our speed. I'm not used to the colon equals. I'm not sure what that is. Let me look it up. Inferred type. Oh, so we're okay based off of its. So you don't have to specify the type. So yeah, you're saying we could do this blah, instead of that. Okay, so we get our speed. And so this is something where, you know, we're going to have to start writing some custom code because ideally we would obviously like the animation steps to hustle a bit more. Like we need to decide, okay, the default animation speed is whatever, and that correlates with speed whatever value. And then as we increase the speed here, that increases the stepping of the animation, right? Because otherwise there's no visual indication to the player that it's going any faster or slower. Okay, and so this is I think this is actually a first bug I'm going to have to deal with here. So, because I'm pretty sure, okay, so we ran over that. Whoa! So that bounced us back. Okay. All right, and I think we're going to want the collision of the, because the player's all the way here before it detects that collision. So I do think we're going to want it to be bounded. Now, I think maybe the player's area should be, no, it has to be because because of the way that works. So yeah, so we'll do the bounds of the conveyor collision to be a bit higher. See, this is where we get the nice benefits of everything we were doing, because we can go to the out of curiosity though, what happens when I go in here? Okay, so it doesn't show the okay, sorry, just started talking to myself. So yeah, sorry, tile sets. So there's the obstacle tile set, and then we're going to go here. And we're just going to edit the collision. Oh, see, we can't make the collisions bigger than the bounds of the... look at that. Changing. Oh, it's magic. You know. All right, so that's cool. Okay, so that's more of what we would expect. Cool. So that bounces the player back. So now what we'll do is we'll make this pressure plate change the direction of the conveyor. Now, I guess pressure plate could be sort of a universal thing. So we need to have something to indicate that this is going to rotate somehow. So a sprite and how big are these graphics? Yeah, and the whole tile concept has been around from the early days of game dev. It's just something that's always been there, and it's just its own little monster. Okay, so let's see. Floors, conveyor belts. So how big is this? 128. Okay. Just want to make sure before I start. So we'll go 128 by 128. And I wonder if I can just cheat for a while and use something like Wingdings or some sort of weird font that has like a bunch of icons and stuff I could just steal from. Let's see. How do I even... I want to create a tile floor that alternates tile color in a pattern. Says Darren. Figured out, man. Insert text. Here we go. Is this really the... Okay. All right, so let's try... Hello. Hello, Moto. Thanks for the preview, by the way, font selector. Webdings. Wingdings. Oh, great. Great. Okay, fine. I'll do it myself. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Six. Enter. Boop. Let's do from 8, so we'll do 16. Okay, and then we're just going to make a little arrow using this. And please don't judge me. This is programmer art. Please don't judge me. This is programmer art. Don't judge programmer art. Don't judge. Please avoid judgment. How do I view the tiles here? Show. How do I view layers? No, that's not what we want. There's a layer window down here. Where are you, buddy? Come here. What is this? Palettes, presets. I am not New layer. Okay, so there's definitely layers. Let's do a new one. Boop. Hey, so apparently there just has to be some. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going. Okay, so layer 1. Let's make layer 2 invisible. Okay, for now, layer 2 is invisible. And we're going to go just nice and easy. A happy little line. Just a happy little line. And we're going to go boop. Boop. The arrow's not lining up the way I wanted it to. So I think we're going to have to redraw this circle. And that's fine. So let's do another layer. Happy little layer. Layer. Yeah, every image editor needs sound effects. I was talking to Darren about the old school, like Windows, how you could customize like every sound the thing made. And you'd get on someone's computer and they'd have like a feather or quill icon, and everything made all these weird like noises and stuff because of they'd overwritten the. Oh, well, that's not going to work, is it? We got to go in right here somewhere. Right in the middle. Okay, there's that. Now we keep this. We delete this little guy. How do we delete you? Duplicate, delete layer. Okay, now we need to. And then how do we? Oh. No. How do I cut you to a new layer? Oh, I did. And then we did new layer. Okay, so there's the new layer, and we're gonna make that like that, and then we're gonna go move. Oh, that's eyedropper. Marquee. Here we go. Magic wand. Boodaloo. 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 And then we're going to go to a new layer. Boodaloo. No. We're not going to go to a new layer. We're going to go to layer invisible. And we're going to go boop, boop, boop. Like that. And we're going to go. And then we're going to say, okay. And then we're going to go back to our, and then we're going to go pencil, just color in a little, no. Okay. Here we go. Just color in a little bit right here. Very nice. It's looking good. There we go. That's our little rotate icon for now. It's looking pretty nice. Okay, and then we're going to export this. Sure, we'll call this. I need to start getting organized. It's a happy little circle. That's our secret little circle. Maybe he likes rainbows. And go ahead and put that right there. That's nice. Export. And we're going to go. this. You did. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Darren knows. He worked with me. Graphics. We're calling it ground. Should we call it? What are we calling it? Ground entities? I don't know. Entities. I'm still not set on all the names I have for anything. So we'll call this rotate. Oh, no. We don't want to overwrite something. Rotate. Okay. And export. Yeah, well, okay. So now we've got another obstacle that we can add. So we're going to go here. And Darren, we need to really work out some sort of convention here. Uh-oh. What's the idea? Boop. So there's rotate. And we'll go here. And we need to define a tile. And we'll say there's the tile. And then we'll put the collision. We'll make the whole thing the collision this time. And save. So now we have that. And we just need to give it a name. We're going to call it rotate. Pad. Plate. Rotate. Pad. I don't know. Yeah, I know. We got to start solidifying. It's almost like we need a folder. Anytime we're doing something new where we're experimenting, we need to have a folder called experiment or like delete later or something. I don't know. Okay, so there's our rotate pad. We don't have. So now if we go back and we reload the scene, our default scene, we've got rotate pad here. So we need to add a script for it. And, oh, we need to re-import it because it doesn't like, we forgot to choose our, what's it called? Filter. We got to turn filter off. Re-import. That's how we get those nice little crunchy pixels. Go back. Pop it in. Okay, so now we need to add a script. That's why it's not showing anything. And we should formulate that because that way when we start, like if we start collaborating more, we can kind of have a language of when we're looking in shared stuff, we can kind of know what it is we're looking at. I think that would be a good idea. What's your idea? Yeah, that's what I feel like. Now we can make a new script. Oh, he's responding to. Okay. That's what I get for paying attention the way I do. New script, ground entities. We're going to inherit ground entity. And we're not going to have a template. And we're going to call this rotate pad. Okay. And rotate pad. And let's see, there's rotate pad now, extends, ready. So nothing special. Let's just see if it gets us. Bloop. Why did it go over here? Why? I'll tell you why. Have you ever seen a grown man cry? Tears. Repeatedly. Exorbitantly. I'm thinking. Oh, I pissed it off. Ooh, okay, good to know. Ooh, it made it twice. Okay, that's why. All right, I just discovered why there's this other thing that happens. Why is it going there? So we're going to assume this is going to be a problem if I have to keep reopening it like this. No, this is something else. Is it because... own stuff. Tool. I bet you that's what it is, son. You're a giant tool. But Pa, don't you but Pa me. Nope. Oops. All right, see you in a bit. There it is. Yeah, it was tool. It's been a while. Okay, good to know. Okay, so there's rotate pad. Now we can kind of do the same thing. See, as a player, I would expect this to... As a player, I would expect this to cause me to rotate, not to rotate something else. So it's almost like, how do we inform the player? How do we inform the player that this is hooked into something else? Like if we had that. Tell me something. Oh. I could never understand, like, okay, here I am in the editor, and it's like, why can't I click this? But as soon as I click a sprite, like the actual pixels, then it shows it. I never understood that. Wow, that's wonky. I mean, I don't know that I would. All right. Okay, so pressure pad, rotate pad. How do we communicate to the player? Okay, well, we'll do the same thing we're doing with pressure plate, and we'll have yeah, I just smell scope. Like if we do that, then we have to be able to have that. Which is kind of it's okay. It almost makes me think my idea of visually showing what something is connected to in the editor might actually make sense just to have in the game. So, something to think about. Okay, so I'm doing this. I'm doing the exact same export. We'll close this out. Can we close that out? No. Load the scene up again. It still doesn't see it. But if I close out here, we could use matching colors. That might be a possibility. Or here's another idea: is we use ideally it would be like with a beautiful shader, but if we had it where the it showed in here some sort of icon of what it was going to change. And this is where we're going to figure out the language of the game. Like, we don't quite know what it is even yet. But we're going to start adding these things in and kind of see what we get. And also, this is indicating to the player that it's going to rotate a certain direction. And then we need to maybe visually animate that this is rotating as well. And then the question is, when the player lands on this, do we have it pause the player or something? You know, so there's some questions with that. Well, I mean, we could even do things like when the player is getting close to it, I don't know. It depends. We'll see. And I mean, because we might decide that what we want this to do always is this is the conveyor belt. Like for instance, we could have some sort of rotation thing that does it to the horizontal, like anything that's on the path of this, like horizontally and vertically, that's what it'll rotate. The direction of or something. I'm not sure. You know, I'll be honest, I am worried that I don't know that we're going to be able to make anything gameplay wise. Like, puzzle stuff is tough, so we'll really have to be creative. Okay, so the main thing, and here's what I'm starting to notice too about like area shape entered. I think I'm going to need to make a default in like ground entity thing, because we're going to need this. And yeah, so we're going to need this in all of them. So we've got script templates here, and we're going to say we're going to add, oops. New ground entity inherits. Scripts. Templates. Okay, and we'll have this on every. Yeah, I'll start building out some of the like default stuff that we want inside of a new one of these things. So when I want to pop out some fresh scripts for it, we just sort of are ready to go. So like in this case, we want this to fire for sure. We can make it change when stepped on and make a sound. Yeah, for sure. Send signals to vectors 14. So we'll go here and we'll say 14, 2. I'd like to be able to just pick from a list, so maybe later. And I have that code in the pressure plate. So that's already starting to feel like yeah, this is starting to feel like maybe something that we might have in all of them. Whoops. Okay, so that registers it. And then we're going to have a signal called pressed. And then we're going to emit here. And then we'll make sure that debug hits. Okay, so now if we run the game. Uh-oh. Row. Rotate pad. Okay, there's our break. Emit signal pressed. Pressure break. Oh. Self. Okay. So it needed an extra value passed through it. And then we'll do it again. Boop. Okay, so now we go and say, who are you? Telling me to do something. So over here on the conveyor, and this is the bummer where we can't say is class and then check, like we can't have a name on here called like, we can't use the class name. Let me just search Godot GDScript get class name. How to get the class name of custom node. Get class always returns the name of the native class. It's easy to change this behavior by overriding the method. So that's just the native class. So if I did it's kind of shitty. Why don't I just have a constant then? And we'll always have the same constant. And we'll call it maybe we want to do. Yeah, I already did this. So, yeah, we'll use these effects. We don't even need to know anything about what sent the signal. We respond to those effects that it maybe. Okay. Well, I'll be right back. I've got to go do some, things. And then I'll be right back. Okay, back again. Yeah, so we can add effects here. So we'll do, we've got effects, and then I don't even think I'm going to end up using attributes. Direction, pressed. So for instance, add effect. And then we'll say for pressure, not pressure plate, we're doing rotate pad. At the start here, we'll add an effect, and then we're going to call it rotate. And and I guess we could call this rotate clockwise. Is there do you guys know, is there another way to say clockwise, counterclockwise? Because that is a mouthful. Another way to say clockwise. That is a huge word. Okay, well, we'll just have the two then, and we'll say rotate. And this one's going to do counterclockwise. So in this... You son of a... You know what I mean. So rotate counterclockwise. So I don't think we need to... Let me double check on... add entity. Add effect value. Value equals null by default. And then I don't have to add a value in this case, because then the name of the effect implies God darn it. Rotate pad. Let's put you down here. There we go. So cool. Now we only need the two at most. Add effect to self. Rotate counterclockwise. And now when we call on conveyor, then conveyor, we just set up, okay, so pressed. And maybe we don't call it pressed, because I think that even the idea of sending a message out and connecting two things to send messages out to is going to be so ubiquitous among all these things that I don't know that pressed is the right word. But from the object, we can then respond to its activated. That might be it. Well, no, because we need to imply the implication being that we're receiving a signal from something else, or that something else is telling us to do something. So, like, I think it should be like respond, respond to effects or something like that. effect response or I don't know. Okay, so for instance, like on player right now, on our move step, we're doing get active effect on effect. That might be it. Add entity, remove entity, get active effect. Returns the current value for the specified key in the dictionary. If the key does not exist, it returns the default argument. And we're returning this might not be, because that's an active effect on so do we have just a plain old get effect? We don't. Okay, so get effect for object and the effect. And then we say if we have that object, oh man, we can do a lot of weird things with this. I've built something that's actually pretty, my brain is having so if entities has the object, right? So that will mean that we registered something, and then we can do entities object because that's this entities object effects. So we're going to say entities objects effects dot has effects. I think we just return this. Return and I guess we could call this has effect instead of get effect. So we're just saying, does it have this effect? Has effect, and then we say return false if that happens not to have anything. So this could possibly return true or false. And then we'll specify that this is a bool value to return. Okay. Here's why I was doing that. If we go back to, so now we have this effect here that we've added to us called rotate counterclockwise. We don't need this anymore. I was going down a path. I was going down a dark path. And we'll go get rid of this and the player. Now we're going to go back to conveyor, right? So here's why this is important. So now we go and we say from object. Okay, so now we can say from entity, we can ask entity. So we go entity, and then we say entity has effect from object, and then we say, what do we call it? Effect. Rotate counterclockwise. So now we can do an if statement. If we have rotate counterclockwise, we break point. Okay, so this should work. Let's find out. Nope. Identifier rotate counterclockwise. Oh, because I have to do dot. I've got to do effect dot. Is it? Do I do? Oh, just lower click. Okay, so here we go. Effect dot rotate counterclockwise. Okay, so if entity has effect from this object, rotate counterclockwise, then we break. Yes. Okay. So now we know we need to rotate. And I do like on effect or on effect. Connect signal. Emit signal. Is it redundant to call it emit effect? Emit effect. And I mean, that's not really what's happening either. So, I mean, do I even need, if I just pass, because I could just pass the effect. No, because it can have multiple. I set that up on purpose. Because you could have multiple effects. All right, well, I'll think about it. Okay, get rid of that. So if entity has effect rotate counterclockwise, then we need to rotate. Ooh, okay. See, this is where it's getting interesting. There's a lot of little things going on that I need to think about. So we have, let's put conveyor down here. These are the two we're talking to. This is the parent. And so we have get cell rotation. And right now we're just returning these. Get cell direction. That's specific to tile map flipped or transposed. So I want to set cell rotation. And I want to do it in a human readable way. So set cell rotation. I don't know. Return a Boolean? Sure. So how do we, what we want is our input. So we need to say cell, comma, rotation. And we're going to say that rotation, can I strict the values from a list? Okay, well, I mean, for now it's an integer. And return false. And then, I mean, we have these rotations here, right? So match rotation, and then we have 0, 90, set cell rotation. But is even that what I want to do? Because I want to rotate. I'm going to stage this. I might not need this code at all. We're going to return false on everything here. Because I'm we're going to need to, sorry, your preview to what's in my brain. Stream of consciousness talking right now. So we go function rotate counter clockwise, and then we function rotate clockwise. Okay, and I think with something like this, we're just gonna void. We're not gonna give any anything for our return. Okay, so like on this one, I still think I'll need set cell rotation. Maybe. Because if we're going to go, oh gosh. This involves math. Oh no. Matt. We're going to want to animate this, right? Okay, so I'm using rotation degrees. Get cell rotation. So that's how I'm doing the rotation. So I am setting this. So in theory, we could animate between the different values when they change. Okay, so that's good. So we can tween between them. Now, there are some problems with that idea, though, in that it might not look very clean. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's not going to look awful. Okay, so get cell rotation Set cell rotation. Rotate counterclockwise. So what we need to do is we need to go. We know our cell, so we don't even need to. That's ourselves. Get cell rotation. Why are we passing? Okay. Anyways, rotate counterclockwise. We're gonna. So var rotation. No, we don't even, because we're setting it. So we already have the value. Rotation degrees. And then we're going to, do we even need to, because this is just some math. So degrees. If we're going, so how do I make sure that because we don't want to use radians, right? We want to use rad 2 degrees. We want rad 2 degrees. But do we want to do radians? Let's just keep looking. Converts an angle expressed in degrees to radians. I just want to do... Gosh, I don't know how to do radian math. Gonna have to go to Khan Academy real quick and get a refresher. Converts an angle expressed in radians 2 degrees. Returns 30. So let's do radian rotate. Yeah, we're officially in the SHIT, as it were, with actually doing it now. So we're in the poop. Radian rotate number of degrees. I'm now having to do math. Oh God. Pi. Okay. Beautiful pi. 2 pi. Turns. Well, I mean, I know how I can cheat this. Because if I say, this is how I do all math. if we say mod here, we'd want to float mod. So we say rotate. So we have our rotation degrees. If we're rotating counterclockwise, we minus, and we're doing right angles, so we minus 90 degrees. All right, so if we were pointing 90, we'd go back to 0. And then we say, and we do, returns the integer modulus that wraps equally in positive and negative. So that's definitely not it. So maybe it was fmod returns the floating point remainder of, so that wraps equally in positive and negative. Is that not what we want, huh? Range. Right. So I believe if I say I kind of wish there was a website where I could run some test GDScript stuff. I believe this. So let me just do, can I run this? Like if I pick some code? No. So we'll do a new script here. And we're going to call it delete me. And open her up. Whoops, that's not it. And then let's just say we do 0 minus 190, and we want to say 360. What is it going to give us? Okay, because this should give us what is it? 1 something. Or not 1 something. 270. All right. So let's just run this little guy. How do I just run you? I just want to run you just all by yourself. You cutie. How do I run you? I just want to run you. Don't make me make a scene. Literally. I don't want to have to make a literal scene just to run you. Fine. Fine. See if I care. Delete me. Sure. Let's attach a script. Okay. Oh, extends node. I want to extend to node 2D. Sorry. So sorry. Bloop. Oh, I didn't print it out. Yeah, I don't want to do that whole if thing. I want to wrap it. Zero. Well, that certainly isn't what we want. Okay, I literally did this in the code for wrapping the like if I did 360 plus 90, I know it's going to give me 90. This will be right for 90. No. Okay, that's not right at all. Well, do I have this backwards? Returns the modulus. Oh, the integer. Oh, I've got it backwards. No wonder I was so confused. 90. There we go. So there's 90. Now let's do minus 0. And that should get us 270 when we run it. That's what we want. Yes. Okay, got it. All right, so this is the math right here. So what we do is we go like this, and then we say whatever the current rotation degrees are, we go 90 degrees that way, and then it just will wrap the number around itself when it's not what we want it to be, so we don't have to do any weird if stuff. Oh, I just got it. I got it how I want it. So we can wrap. Basically, we just, for counterclockwise, this is the, I don't know how to say it. Is it modulus? And then if we want to go clockwise, we just do plus, and then it'll wrap the number around 360. And then we set, so really we just go rotation degrees equals that, and I think that's it. And so rotate clockwise will just run that math, rotate counterclockwise will just run this math. And this is, so this value though, this is what we could tween. So we could tween it. Like a good tween. What time is it? Oh my goodness, I need to stop. That's a good sign though. I'm having fun again. Okay, so let me just get this going now. So we, if pressed has effect, rotate counterclockwise, then we rotate counterclockwise on ourselves. And actually, let's make that something that we only do in our own little world here. And I'll just set a breakpoint just to make sure it happens. Okay. And now presently we're pointing this way. Now we change the rotation. And now we're pointing down. Okay, so this works. So let's do it. Whoop, there it changes. And oh, but our direction doesn't. And why is that, friends? Don't let friends something. We're starting to get direction. And right now we're using, interesting. So right now we're using we don't need to do it this way. Because we can use, because I am setting cell rotation. The assumption always being that if there is a direction of a thing, that it's going to go, that's really weird that the animation just stops like that. That it's going to go right, right to, or left to right, the order that we read in. So we use rotation degrees. So we don't need, even is flipped is, So we need this to turn it into degrees. But get direction, we can get cell rotation and then determine the direction to give. So what I mean to say, but not even that. So maybe this should be set cell rotation. And then we always use rotation degrees to determine the other stuff. Because that way when I do this funky stuff here and then we ask, hey, what's your direction? We just go match rotation degrees. And then we give the answer there. Now here is a question though. Let me just spit out on run debug.log. And I just want to get what it is by default. So we'll do one going the right way. There's some problems with a lot of this though. Oh, because it's expecting cell. Okay. Well, the rotation is working. Oh, it's not firing because it's not ready. How about before we rotate? Well, actually, we just do, what's our rotation degrees presently? And then we'll do after rotation degrees. That's disturbing that it's not even. Oh, did I set it badly in here? No. 180. Save. I must have. Why is it? Why is it slightly off? We're going to set it to 180. Save. That was weird. Oh. Oh. My answer's right there. Okay, so so get direction we use. I just want to do this really quick. Rotation degrees. And then all we do is we can get rid of all this crud. Go rotation degrees, and if it's 0, it's going right, and then 90, it's going down, and then 180, it's going left, and then 270, it's going up. Done. Okay. And this is left to right now. We got that fixed. Okay, so now let's run it and we should automatically it's a float. Why is it a float? That makes sense though. But it still has to have true. Okay, well, fine. Then we'll do it like this. Cell rotation. Zero. 90. 180. 270. No, that's still not going to work though, because that's based off of the. I get that it's a float, but we should still be able to compare on it. But is it because it's not? Like, how do I make this a float for you to be happy about? Do I seriously have to go like this? Ah, you're right. Well, but that's silly. It's the same thing. This is way easier to read. Okay. But it's not going to work because, yeah, it's not working. And the reason why is we've got these weird little halflings. So let's try this, because I think that I actually caused something to be bad. That's also weird. So it's pushing us back. Greater. Now we have, but it's a match. It's not a if statement. So it's just if the value, it's like if equals, but then it just keeps going down until it finds a match. Now, I'm not going to do that because something's wrong. So I'm going to fix what the thing is that's wrong. No, I get what you're saying, but something's wrong. Like, it shouldn't be these, it should be even though it's a float, it should still be 0, you know, so on. So, like, I've got to figure out why it's not quite right. But right now I'm also trying to fix something else, which is the rotate. This guy is not showing up anymore on the rotate pad. Export vars and signals to. So like the list of and just to be sure. Yeah. Weird. Well, it should still fire. All right, here's our fresh one. Let's just see. Yeah, this. I mean, it should be a true. So like for instance, when we set the table here on our, like let me print, well no, but it should be the exact number. Like that's the problem. I mean, at least so at the start, we're the right number. So we're returning an integer. I bet you that's what it is. We need to be doing, for some reason, because we give it an integer, I bet you, yeah, we need to do the other F era. Yeah, float. So if we do F, I bet that fixes it. Let's find out. Nope. Okay, we start out at 0. Rotation degrees 0, and the one is the one that is rotated is just wrong. So rotation degrees. Get cell rotation. Let's return a float here. If that wasn't it. Okay. And let's run again. Doesn't match the return type. So we go float and return type 0. This is why we do this stuff. Okay. Just to be sure, going to delete you, save, and then we're going to clear you out. 1, 2. Okay. Oh, it's mad because okay. Now, just to be sure, because it's set. I mean, that to me is 180 degrees. There's no weird leftover nothing. What's the problem? Okay. I mean, something's weird. Something's weird to start with. Because when we run on ready, it says that our rotation degrees is 0. That isn't right, period. Well, I am. I don't understand why it's getting like into this messy float. Let's look up Node 2D. It's a float. Relative to the node's parent, which is us here. Transform. So there's no rotation here. And there's no rotation here. Yeah, you can do both in Godot. So like you could set rotation degrees and then it would expect it in degrees, not radians. And then you can do like right here there's rotation, and that's going to be the radians. Okay. Let's print debug because we're doing this on the entity. Let's print the debug on the conveyor here. Just the conveyor's rotation degrees. And that's where we're getting that 179 nonsense. Right there. So how about we do a print of before and after we set the rotation degrees to something else, because that's where I think it's getting messed up on. So we want to blow that away, close, reopen, and we'll open up the debugger down here, and now we're gonna paint this in. Do I have to do print? If I do print debug, is that why it's not been showing up? Okay, don't save. No. I'm just doing some voodoo stuff here just to see. Okay. Now it thinks it's 180 here. When I ask it, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? It's fine now. No. What the fudge? But when we said it, I thought it was fine. Well, I think I'm going to have to quit it for today. I've been going way too long. But, yeah. Let's just ask it its rotation. Because I could always tap. I mean, I can change this to be the max of a radian maximum, and then do the stepping for. So I mean, there's other ways. There are other ways. Yeah, it's off there. It's weird. I mean, they're both float values. So, I mean, the max radian would be pi times 2, right? Or, what is it? So, no, because that would flip the tile. You know that K, when I had K and I was trying to get all the mirror and all that stuff? We just want to straight rotate it. The reason why we want to be able to use rotate is because then we can animate like this. So if we can use this rotation degrees the way that I'm wanting it to, with the strict 180, so on and so forth, then we could animate this. Boop. And we could actually tween the rotation to show it move to 90. Well, yeah, but since we're working with like puzzle logic, we want it to be strict. So we want it to be like strict, and that's. So I'm gonna do some searching and figure out. It's just if I start making exceptions for some weirdness like this, instead of figuring out why the hell I'm getting it in the first place, I worry that it's only gonna compound. Like I should be, I mean, it really doesn't make any sense that it's not strict. I mean, it literally shows, like, here's what it thinks it is. Here's what it literally shows it is. Here, 180. And I can make it that. Oh, and it changes to 180. Would you look at that? Yeah. All right, I'm going to go Godot can't set rotation to 180. Well, this sounds like someone exactly what I'm running into. No, that's not it. But it just shouldn't be happening in the first place. I'm literally setting the value to 180. Like if I went here and we just said, if I just said 180 and then deleted this, and no matter what, now when I add the new one in, I'm strictly setting it to 180. And we could do the same thing. Like we could reset this, and now if I put this one down, of course it doesn't. Am I crazy? There we go. Okay, so let's erase all of these bastards. See, that's concerning that some of the... Okay. So now I've set it... I mean, it's the same thing. I'm using a return value of the exact same amount. It's the same... Yeah, so that's literally what I'm doing. It's possible. Well, okay. I'll fix this when I come back to it. Then what I'm going to do is I need it to be a strict value. So we're going to use this. We're going to still use the tile rotation information, the transpose and the X and the Y flip stuff to determine this. But what we'll do is we will animate the rotation using the rotation degrees. And we're going to get now I just want it to be dynamic. I just want to be able to, for anything, just rotate it. Yeah, I mean, we could do that if we're wanting to. Okay, well, I'm gonna hit this up again. I gotta stop though. I've been going way too long, so that's why I'm kind of running out of steam. But I appreciate everybody hanging out, and yeah, it's just bizarre. But it might be some sort of limitation with floats, maybe. It really doesn't make any sense. But the other possibility is that I need to use, if I, instead of using the, instead of setting it in rotation degrees, if I just set it in radians, maybe I won't have the problem. Not really sure. I would ideally like to not have the problem. But that's why get direction was bombing regardless. So let me go back. I mean, all of this is right. So I'm going to keep, sorry. I keep saying I'm going to stop and then I don't. So yeah, get direction. If we put it all back to the way it was. Then what I can do is we can get the rotation based on the tile map, you know, the strict tile map information. Then when we choose to rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, we then have a setter for set cell rotation. Then what we do is we get the rotation based off of these values here. We say, okay, we're rotating, and here's the number of degrees we want to move, and then we set cell rotation, and we pass the degrees, and then we basically do the inverse of this to get it pointing the way that we want in the like tile map brain. And then that way we can always ask for the cell rotation here and get these strict numbers here. Instead of having to like account for the drift in the float. And then if we're ever saving the state of the stage for whatever reason, we have the strict, yeah, we have the strict, everything's still real strict. Okay. Well, look at all this. Lots of things that are happening now, which is really good. So, all right, guys. Just weird little things, but we're on a roll now in the sense that like we are sending these signals back and forth, and we're just going to start making things happening. And then as we start to have more and more of these, it you know, we'll actually be able to make levels. So yeah, I think the next couple of weeks, that's what it's going to look like. Yeah. So the speed, you know, we got to do the animation for the speed stepping and stuff like that. So we'll have to get that worked out. We're right there. This is going to be good though. I mean, it works. It just doesn't. It does do the rotation. It just, because it's not an exact number, I was trying to be smart, and then, of course, I'm let down by the thing I'm using. I have a feeling even if I was using Unity, I would be bumping into the exact same kind of weirdness with Unity or any other engine. Yeah. All right, guys. Peace out. Everyone have a good one. Thanks for hanging out.